What's happening, everybody? Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. Now, today, I know you've seen that title, and I'm here to stand on that. If I'm starting a basketball team, I am choosing Chris Paul over Steph Curry. And here's why. Chris Paul is a more important player to a basketball team than Steph Curry is, and probably than Steph Curry ever was. Now, I get it. You're going to look at the stats and look at the numbers and be like, Steph Curry's averaging 31, Chris Paul's averaging 17. Steph Curry's the greatest living shooter to ever walk the face of the planet. Chris Paul has never been as good at shooting than Steph, has never been as good probably at anything on a basketball court than Steph Curry is at shooting, except for one thing: his leadership and the way he changes an organization. That's the thing. Chris Paul, probably since his rookie year, if he was healthy, has never been on a bad team. There's never been one team that Chris Paul has been on that you were like, dang, that is a bad team. Even look at this year's Phoenix Suns. They are second in the Western Conference right now. They are one game in the loss column and one game in the win column. They're 43-18, and the Jazz are 44-17. That's the only team better than the Phoenix freaking Suns. The Suns changed one thing between last year, a team that was in the lottery that had the number 10 pick and got Mikal Bridges or whatever they got, and this year's team, which is going to be the 2 seed in the West over the Clippers and the Lakers and the Nuggets and the Mavericks and the Trailblazers. There's only one thing that changed. That was Chris Paul. They added Chris Paul this offseason from from OKC. Chris Paul changed his team so many times. From OKC, and now they went from lottery to second over the second best record in the NBA. They got the second best record in the NBA. One thing changed, and that's Chris Paul. Look at Curry. No offense to Steph Curry, but Steph Curry has been on a lot better teams than Chris Paul. And this year's Golden State Warriors team ain't a soup sandwich. Wiggins can play. Kelly Oubre can play. Draymond Green can play. Now, obviously, Clay is hurt, but that's just one player. Outside of Clay, this team should be better than 30-31. Hell, they weren't even this good. They're a 10 seed, so they're going to be in that play-in series. They wouldn't even be this high if Curry hasn't went crazy over the last month. The man hit the most threes in a month in the history of the NBA this month in April. So if it wasn't for him just going complete bonkers over the last month, they were actually lower on this list. They were actually under 500. They were actually a really, really bad basketball team. You can't say that about Chris Paul. Now, yes, the numbers don't, the stats don't tell you everything about a person's impact on a basketball team. You can ask Monty Williams, Devin Booker, Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, whoever you want on the Phoenix Suns. What is the biggest difference between you guys this year and last year? You know, the team that they went undefeated in the bubble, but everybody played good in the bubble. Hell, the Miami Heat went to the championship game in the bubble. What is the difference between you guys this year? You know, the second best record in the NBA, second best record in the West, and last year in the bubble. They'll tell you two words: Chris Paul. Chris Paul's impact cannot be measured by just stats and analytics. Chris Paul is a person that should be in the top. He should be in your top 3 for MVP voting, right? And here's the reason why Chris Paul impact isn't talked about or regarded like it should be, because the way the modern point guard plays, your Russell Westbrooks, your Derrick Roses, your Steph Currys, your Kyrie Irvings, these guys that are a miniature that are considered point guards. Why is Chris Paul's impact not as felt like those guys, right? Or at least when they're prime? It's because they score the ball. They put the ball in the basket a lot more and average a lot more points. Steph Curry at 30, Kyrie Irving around 30, Russell Westbrook, has had 30-point seasons and all these triple doubles. And that is different than the way point guards used to play. Magic Johnson was a career 19-point per game guy. Isaiah Thomas was more of a scorer, and he still was hovering around 20 points per game. John Stockton never really went over 20 points per game during the season, but their teams won a lot of basketball games. Magic Johnson got 5 chips to call for. Isaiah Thomas during the Lakers run, right at the end of the Lakers run and right before the Bulls dynasty, Isaiah Thomas got 2 championships. So those are how point guards used to play. Chris Paul's a throwback point guard. He's not the best shooter. He's not the fastest player in the world, but he's got a tight handle, and his leadership is second to none. I mean, we're talking about taking a Phoenix Suns team that was in the lottery last year. Last year, he was on a OKC team who's fighting for the #1 pick this year. Oklahoma City might get Cade Cunningham, the #1 overall pick in this upcoming draft. They were a 5 seed last year, a 4 or 5 seed with Chris Paul last year. Only thing that changed for their team is that they lost Chris Paul. And now they're going to be at the top of the lottery, not just in the lottery, but at the top of the lottery. You can't say the same about Steph Curry. Steph Curry has had 2 years without Klay Thompson. This year, they're a 10 seed. They're probably not even going to make the playoffs. And last year, I give it to him, he was hurt, but their team had the #2 overall pick. You can never say that about a Chris Paul-led team, that they had the #2 overall pick while he's in his prime. Steph Curry is in his prime, and Chris Paul's 2 years older than Steph Curry. Chris Paul's the same age as LeBron James. So the way that we love LeBron and we harp all this praise about LeBron, obviously Chris Paul's not LeBron, right? Like, it's just not the same. But the fact that he's playing in year 15 like this, MVP level, has the team second in the West, we got to give that man some more love. We got to give that man his flowers, because if I'm, like I said, if I'm starting a team and I need leadership, I want my team to be consistent and to be able to win games and to be able to be in contention year in and year out. Give me Chris Paul over Steph Curry. Now, if I have complementary pieces like a Klay Thompson, like a guy that can play defense like Draymond Green and stuff like that, okay, Steph Curry fits better in that. But if I'm starting bare bottoms, bones, nothing, I need Chris Paul, because he is going to elevate a bad team higher than Steph Curry ever could. Steph Curry has real players on this Golden State Warriors team, and they're 10th in the Western Conference. Chris Paul's got real players on Phoenix, and where are they at? Second in the West. There wasn't really many players on OKC last year, and Chris Paul had them 4th in the West. This is the Western Conference, not the East. He had them 4th, 5th in the West last year in the playoffs. Yeah, give me CP3. That dude is just different. He's really, really different. Chris Paul over Steph Curry in my book and on my all-time rankings list. That just is what it is. Even without the championships, even without the MVPs. Who made the impact on the team? Who made the impact on the game? Who wasn't fortunate enough to play with Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green? That's CP3. His best teammate he ever had was James Harden, and James Harden quit on him. And Chris Paul was a hamstring injury away from sending that said Warriors team home. Yeah, he's really like that. Give me Chris Paul. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr. at the Black Boss Channel in Victory Formation. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys next.